from Kumamoto, Japan, and the Kajihara tea garden. This is their Kamairicha, so a kind of pan-fried, wok-fried, kama-fried green tea in a Chinese sort of style, you could say. You often see Kamairicha done in Kyushu, especially like the Nagasaki Saga area, and I guess Kumamoto as well. So the color of the leaf, you have a blend of what looks to be moss green. There's a kind of like a dark turquoise color, a seafoam green, and then little flecks of, it's the stem, they give like an olive yellow. The leaf is curly, it is on the small side, but I don't believe that is the full leaf. I believe it's cut, or it's broken, one of the two. I'd say it averages out to probably 1.5 centimeters, and it smells green, powdery, and sweet, so kind of like matcha sugar. Sweetness is the major thing that I would highlight in the aroma. So I wouldn't say it's vegetal, and I wouldn't say it's fruity. I would say it's very slightly marine-like, but I wouldn't say it's seaweedy either. It does taste like something that you'd have to make. Smells, pardon me. Something you'd have to make. So like dessert, it does smell sweet, like it could only be something that you have with sugar added to it. Like a mousse of some type, like a if you took spirulina, which is very strong smelling and tasting, but if you just used a little bit of it and then you made a mousse or a sweetened whipped cream, I think that would probably take you pretty close to this. There's a nice freshness to it though, and the freshness is fruity. It's like an apple, like a pear. I'll get the water. Alexa, start a timer for 2 minutes.
2 minutes, starting now.
Immediately pretty green looking. And a nice shade of green too. Still sweet. the marine notes came out a little bit stronger. And same with a wet grass smell. It's like old, like dog shit that's been sitting around for a long time. And it's lost most of the smell, but there's still kind of something there. If you have to pick it up, if you have dogs, and you've picked up old shit, I think you'd know that smell. Yeah, it smells like a backyard of someone who has a dog. Mostly. And yeah, so when, I guess it's not really a marine smell then. When there's puddles of stagnant water for a while and the wet grass and I guess the bacteria in it, on it, that creates this kind of stink. And I would say a little bit of that's in there. Mostly it's pleasant. Mostly it is. But I mean, there is that aspect to it. Alexa, stop. So luckily I have 2 opportunities to brew this tea. This first one is the control. So 1:75 ratio, 1 gram of tea, 75 grams of water, boiling point, and 2 minutes of steep. You get a really vibrant green. Almost like edamame beans, and it's very green, but I mean you could pull that into yellow pretty easily. So I would say kind of between the edamame green and olive yellow. I've noticed watching some of these videos that I'm doing, I don't really ever look at clarity, which I'll always do otherwise. It's very clear. 10 out of 10. Okay. Fusion 1. Rolling boil, 2 minutes. 1:75. It's pungent, first and foremost. So, for me, when I smell, and the very first things that come to mind when I smell the green tea, the very first things that come to mind are pungent edamame. I think it must be Yabukita. And if this wasn't, I would be a little surprised. But beyond that, there is this kind of like fermenty aroma. It's kind of like cabbagey. Not to the degree of sauerkraut, but like, yeah, when cabbage starts to go off. And then that pungent note, I mean, there's not many vegetables really capable of pulling that out. I think it's sulfury. Sulfury vegetable. And that vegetable is, Maybe that's a rapini broccoli. And if not, I would say it's got to be in the broccoli family though. And there's that kind of an asparagus pungency. Now, from experience, I would say that pungency is a fault, and that pungency doesn't need to be there and wouldn't be there if the water was cooler. So, in that regard, this is a misbrew, but it is nonetheless the control. I'll brew this a little bit cooler with the next one, and we'll see if I adjust the time. Finally, I would say, yeah, the sulfury aroma is kind of eggy as well. So if you were to take like a hard-boiled egg and then blend rapini in with the egg yolk, like a deviled egg kind of concept, I think that you'd probably get quite close to the aroma of this. It's flat and bitter. A vegetal flavor really lingers. Which goes sulfury and then goes kind of fresh. When you overcook broccoli and it gets soft, you know, it's got that sort of mouthfeel. If you pureed broccoli, boiled broccoli, I think that you would get a flavor close to this. It has a very authentic, honest expression of vegetal flavor. But as I said, something kind of like high tone comes out at the end. I don't know exactly what I would say that is. But after the pungency fades away, then it gets a little refreshing. thinking about scoring it. Well, I guess aroma and concentration are pretty good harmony. I think both are 5. Astringency is 1. Finish is maybe 5 too. Yeah, and then I think the weight might also be 5. Yeah. So I think the balance is great. In my next pot, I will definitely cool the water down by probably 20 degrees. I think that the steeping time is probably fine. I might brew it a little stronger too. I would try to maybe get it to 6. So rather than 1 to 75, I might go 1 to 70. In a positive sense, it's green, and so when you are pan frying a tea, of course it's not easy. You're risking burning it where you don't have the risk with steaming it. So that if a pan fried tea comes out green in color, I believe the pan frying was done well. If you can taste that the tea is smoky or burned or roasted, then I don't believe the pan frying was done well. It's not the case here. So what is different about this than if it was Yabukita, which I'm not sure if it is, but if it was, what's different about this one than a steamed one? And frankly, I must say that it is gotta be that cabbage note, that fermented cabbage note, the amount of sulfury compounds that you taste, and bitterness. It's more bitter than the tea that I'm intricately familiar with. I mean, I've had a few Kamairicha, maybe less than 10 over the years, and they've all been very different. So this is a bit more ordinary than the others I've had, which can be like really floral and really sweet and things like that. But it's fine. Because of how similar it is in most aspects to steamed tea, I don't see the value of, buying this so that I would try to show someone what's different about Kamairicha. I don't think this shows that clearly enough. But that's just me. Thanks for watching. Oh. No. I'll smell this first. It smells like very much like basil. Very herbal. Quite potent. Also a little bit like tomato leaf. Okay, and then the color is olive green, moss green.